Welcome back to the Brew Bowl. We've got one more summary game for you today, which will be the Sloe Thicket Pantry Raiders going up against the Icehorn Peak Jarls in their round 8 clash in Rage in a Cage. So let's see how the match did. So, for deployment, the Jarls win the coin toss and elect to receive the ball in the first half. A blizzard sweeps into the stadium, limiting visibility and making the ground dangerously slippery. The ball comes down on top of Gita Toledotto, but she isn't able to catch it on the full and it lands to her side. Jarls turn 1. The Jarls form a side cage around Gita Toledotto, while only Gerleif Arnson taking the middle of the field to slow the Raiders players down. Helda Kursdottir goes to pick the ball up, but unfortunately fumbles it, and it remains on the Jarls side of the field. Raiders turn 1. Poplar Woodtalon delivers a powerful block to Vitsur Gliknesson, but only manages to knock him back. Kindroot Longbranch blitzes Gerleif Arnson, knocking the lineman down. Sal Alderbury sprints in to put a mark on the football, but he trips on the slippery ground and goes down hard, stunning himself in the process. Jarls turn 2. With plenty of support, the Yeti Thoran blitzes Poplar Woodtalon, knocking the treeman down and stunning him. Rani Meldonson steps in beside Gita Toledotto to provide support for her, while the front line of the Jarls offensive pack push forward. Helda Kursdottir manages to pick up the ball and runs in to throw a pass to Gita Toledotto. Gita fumbles the catch, however, though the ball is caught by Rani Meldonson after the Valkyrie drops it. Raiders turn 2. Kindroot Longbranch once again knocks down Gerleif Arnson before the Halflings begin to move in around the Jarls offensive line. Sago Heathertoes attempts to throw a block at Vitsur Gliknesson, but the action is poorly timed, and Heathertoes goes down instead, knocked out. Jarls turn 3. The Jarls players attempt to create a scoring corridor with Vitsur Gliknesson knocking down Otto Dottingham and Thoran blitzing down Alfred Tumblewood. For good measure, Helda Kursdottir blitzes across the field into Cedric Patchwood, pushing him back to the cage wall. Rani Meldonson attempts to hand the ball off to Gita Toledotto so she can take it across the line, but the Valkyrie once again fumbles the catch and the ball ends up going back to Meldonson, who catches it once more. Raiders turn 3. Kindroot Longbranch continues his assault against Gerleif Arnson, while Sol Alderbury runs in to blitz the ball carrier. The Halfling keeps his footing but can't knock Meldonson down, instead just pushing him back. With no other strong blocks left to throw, the Halflings decide to wait and watch to see what the Jarls will attempt to do. Jarls turn 4. Vitsur Gliknesson knocks down Otto Dottingham and stuns him. Ivinda Daggerblood blitzes Sal Alderbury and knocks the poor Halfling out. No longer wanting to take any chances with a handoff, Rani Meldonson runs with the ball, but comes up just short of the line. Gita Toledotto follows him to provide defence. Thoran blocks Alfred Tumblewood, though the Halfling remains standing. Finally, Helda Kursdottir shoves Cedric Patchwood against the side of the cage, knocking the lineman down. Raiders turn 4. Kindroot Longbranch starts with his 4th block against Gerleif Arnson, and although he knocks the player down, the treeman takes root in the process and can't follow up. Poplar Woodtalon delivers a strong blow to Thoran and knocks the Yeti out. Alfred Tumblewood attempts to blitz the ball carrier, but unfortunately for the Raiders, it's Tumblewood that goes down, leaving the Jarls uncontested from scoring. Jarls turn 5. Vitsur Gliknesson and Gita Toledotto move in around Alfred Tumblewood, and the Valkyrie fouls the Hefty. She is unable to break his armour despite numbers. Not wanting to take any further chances, Rani Meldonson carries the ball across the line to put the Jarls up 1-0. Raiders turn 5. Before the Jarls can kick off to the Raiders, the referee gets into a heated argument with Helda Kursdottir. The ref red cards the Valkyrie and she's sent off for the rest of the match. The Jarls kick a shallow ball, and with limited movement of the treeman, the Halflings are forced to run out and get the ball before bringing it back into a defensive lineup. In the end, it's Alfred Tumblewood who has the ball. Jarls turn 6. Conscious of the fact that the Halflings are capable of throwing a player over their heads, the Jarls close in around the treeman, attempting to mark them to make any throw horribly inaccurate. Gita Toledotto does blitz Otto Dottingham, but can't knock him down. Raiders turn 6. The Halflings go for a throwing touchdown with Alfred Tumblewood handing off to Sal Alderbury. Kindroot Longbranch then picks up Alderbury and attempts to throw him downfield. The throw is good, but Alderbury still lands poorly, going down hard enough to stun himself and ending the first half with the Jarls sitting at a 1-0 lead. At the start of the second half, the Halflings fans, angered by the Jarls' lead, stormed the pitch before the kickoff, stunning all 3 positional players on the pitch for the Jarls. The kick is once again shallow, coming down in the middle of the field, close to the Jarls line. Raiders turn 7. The two treemen move forward as far as they can without risking the slippery ground before Cedric Patchwood runs through to pick up the ball, hoping to carry it safely back between the treemen. Patchwood fumbles picking up the ball, however, and the Raiders' play ends. Jarls turn 7. Vildretsen blitzes into Cedric Patchwood, knocking him to the ground. Vitsert Linesen and Gerleif Arnson both move in as well, with the latter fouling Patchwood. Despite the multiple Jarls players, Arnson cannot pierce Patchwood's armour. Rani Meltonson runs out to collect the ball and then gets back in behind the other Norse players. Raiders turn 8. Poplar Woodtalon blitzes Vitsert Linesen back and out of the way, allowing the treemen to enter the Jarls scrum. With no other blocks available, the Raiders move in to surround the Jarls, hoping to limit their effective blocking and lines of escape. Jarls turn 8. The Jarls players stunned at the start of the half finally get up and join the fray. Their combined numbers allow Thoran the Yeti to blitz Poplar Woodtalon, knocking him down. Rani Meltonson is able to get away from the mess of players and begins running up the field towards his touchdown line. Raiders turn 9. Otto Donningham breaks away from the Jarls players and runs into Mark the ball carrier. Sager Heathertoes blitzes Meltonson and knocks him down, coming away with the ball in the process. Heathertoes moves into a safe position behind Kydrit Longbranch after Treeman knocks Vildretsen out of the way. Jarls turn 9. Believing that their strength advantage will allow them to easily overpower the Halflings, the Jarls decide to throw a series of blocks into the middle of the scrum. They start with Avinda Daggerblood. Despite Daggerblood's much greater strength, he throws a terrible block at Alfred Tumblewood, and the Ulfanar ends up going down himself, leaving the rest of the Jarls players' planned blocks undone. Raiders turn 10. Kindroot Longbranch blocks Thoran, easily knocking the Yeti down. Unable to create any more space, Poplar Woodtalon throws Sager Heathertoes over the top of the Jarls defenders. Despite multiple marks, the throw is brilliant, and Heathertoes lands with ease. With nothing else standing in his way, Sager Heathertoes runs in a touchdown for the Raiders, bringing the score to an even 1-1. Jarls turn 10. The Raiders kick off sails over the top of the cage, and so the Jarls decide to give the ball to Gita Toledodu. The Jarls run forward looking to use the time they have left to score, though no blitzes are thrown during the play due to the risk of the slippery ground during the blizzard. Raiders turn 11. Kydrit Longbranch hits Rani Meltonson, but only manages to push him back. That does allow the treatment to move in to mark the ball carrier, however. Otto Donningham moves to the sideline to mark Vitsert Linesen before Cedric Patchwood runs in to blitz him. Patchwood's block is poor, however, and the Halfling goes down stunned. Jarls turn 11. Vitsert Linesen blocks Otto Donningham, knocking him back along the sideline. Gita Toledodu attempts to dodge away from the treeman, but she's tripped up and she hits the floor. The ball comes loose, but is picked up by Linesen. Raiders turn 12. Alfred Tumblewood and Sal Alderbury both move in to assist Otto Donningham in blocking Vitsert Linesen. The block is effective and Linesen ends up having to be carted off the field and into the injury bin. The Halflings use this opportunity to have Sager Heathertoes sprint in and foul Gita Toledodu. Heathertoes breaks her armour and the Valkyrie is knocked unconscious. The treemen each throw a block, Poplar Woodtalon into Ivinda Daggerblood, knocking him down, and Kindroot Longbranch into Harani Meltonson, stunning the lineman. Jarls turn 12. With only a Hail Mary play available to them, the Jarls start by having Gerleif Arnson dodge away from Poplar Woodtalon. Unfortunately for the Jarls, the lineman is tripped up, and the final whistle blows, leaving the game at a 1-1 draw. So there you have it. Another game which had no real bearings on the outcome because both these teams were already out of the playoffs. But we do still have 2 more summary games to come this round, followed by our wrap-up. So stay tuned, there's plenty more to come. Hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you on the next episode.